Thank you, Arlene, as she reports the Republican Party alive and well. In that piece, Anthony Ribustello, who is the candidate for the Bronx Borough presidency, that special election is going to take place on April 21st right here in the borough of the Bronx. And we are pleased now to be joined in studio by that candidate, Anthony Ribustello, who joins us. And for those people who don't know, you're the candidate for the Bronx Borough presidency. For those people who have seen you before, we know that you've been an actor on The Soprano, playing the Jersey mob boss, Tony Soprano's driver, bodyguard, Law and Order. We thank you for coming and sharing with us, because today you're here as the candidate for the borough presidency. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
As we saw in the piece, a lot is said about the Republican Party is alive and well, and we know that you are a Republican seeking the borough president seat. And a lot of people say in a heavily Democratic borough, it seems as though you got your work cut out for you.
Most definitely. But as I said in the piece, we are now a party of inclusion, not exclusion. At our dinner, we had 11 district leaders there that encompass the entire Bronx, and we are working diligently to get my message out to the entire Bronx. It is very important that people understand that there is a two-party system. You have to have two candidates, because if you only have one candidate, what is the choice? Where does democracy ends when there's no choice? So that's one of the reasons why I ran, and I think it's important as a Republican to run every race that we can to show the people that indeed we are a live, viable party.
Was that the driving factor in causing you to run for the borough presidency? What was the driving factor?
The driving factor, basically, I am a Bronxite, born and raised, and I love the Bronx. And I believe the Bronx can be better. I believe the Bronx can be great. I've traveled, I've stopped in California for a little period of time to live there for a little bit. I was in Georgia for a little while. The Bronx is my home. Everybody in the Bronx, they're real. They're good people. I don't care what ethnicity. I had the good fortune to grow up in a building called Hazel Towers on Mulford Avenue. There was every nationality. I used to go to the store for a couple called the Whitmans. They're long since deceased, because they were 70 then when I was 8. It doesn't make a difference to me. But, that's the lessons I learned growing up in the Bronx, to appreciate everyone. And we all get together, we all get along. That's a wonderful lesson, and I think the Bronx, that's what makes the Bronx and New York City great. And I think we have to strive to make the Bronx the best borough it can be.
What is your vision for the borough of the Bronx? If you're elected borough president, what would you like to see done?
Well, number one, I would like to see computers in our schools for our children at a younger age. I believe that our children are sponges. They can soak up all the material, so they can further. So when they grow up, as they go on further, it'll be easier. It's a computer society. There's no two ways about it. Computers aren't going away. Not like the 8-track tape or the cassette. Computers are staying, and we need to be more competitive in the global market, which we do business every day. And our children need to know how to read, to write, computer skills, in order for them to succeed even on a menial level. So it's really important that our children are prepared, and it starts at the youngest age possible.
Let's talk a little bit about the Bronx. We know for a long time the Bronx had caught a bad rap, talking about the Bronx is burning. Now people would like to say the Bronx is booming. Agree, disagree?
I agree the Bronx is in a much better place than we were in 1977. We have a way to go still, because I see some of the telltale signs slipping back from when, say, Rudolph Giuliani was mayor. It's important. Quality of life issues are very important. Something some people think is innocuous as graffiti. When you dress well, you feel better. So when your borough is cleaner and there's less graffiti, people have a greater pride in their borough, in their home. I think it's very important that we should make our borough the best looking it can be, not just for aesthetic reasons, even though I believe that's important, but it's cleanliness. It gives you a sense of pride. It gives you a sense of belonging. You don't take things for granted. To me, that's very important. A sense of place, a sense of birth.
And major businesses come back to the borough of the Bronx, admittedly. So are you satisfied with what you're seeing in regards to major businesses coming back? You've got the new Yankee Stadium, got some quote-unquote economic revitalization going on. What would you see or do different?
Well, I am pleased with the growth in the borough. I believe there can be more. I mean, I've walked down the streets doing campaigns, and there are many empty stores right now. I mean, in this economic downturn, I think we can do better. I think, you know, the big corporations like a BJ's or Walmart or whatever, they have a place in the Bronx, but small business is where it's at, to me. Small business makes up 90% or about of the businesses in the Bronx. Now, the edge that they have over a Walmart or a BJ's or a Costco or whatever is the personal relationships you forge between the store owner and the customer. Those can't be replaced. I will go out of my way to go to a small business in my area, you know, because I know that person and I know he's going to give me the best information he has on a product, or you know, what's fresh and what's not fresh in everyday life. I think that's very important. Yet I don't want to discourage bigger businesses coming in, but I would like to see bigger businesses say, I keep going back to Walmart, when you come into our borough, have health insurance for our workers. They shouldn't be penalized because they're not working for Walmart because they need a job and that one's available. They should have health insurance also. I mean, I may be a little all over the spectrum, but to see people, you know, I worked in hospitals for many years, and they come in and they have no insurance, and they're lost, and they need services, and they can't, you know, and they can't get them as much as they like to. I think business has to partner up in making sure that we have the insurance benefits for our people, our prospective workers. At bottom line, you know, there shouldn't be anyone without coverage that has a job in this borough.
Let's talk about the unemployment rate. As we know, the Bronx has had the highest unemployment rate in the 5 boroughs for quite some time right now. What would you do to help to alleviate getting the Bronx out of that unemployment rate? Well, or having the worst unemployment rate?
I would like to see our internet being utilized more as job searches. I believe there was a site up on a government site, a city site. There was only one posting on it at one time. We need to utilize that more. We need to encourage bigger businesses to come in with the caveat, yes, you have to provide some medical insurance. We need to maybe some empowerment zones, you know, so businesses can open, so we could give jobs to people in our community. There are too many, like I said, there are too many stores that are closed, and if those stores stay closed, those are lost jobs. That's lost pride. You know, that doesn't do any good. It'll be harder to recover the longer we go with those stores and businesses closed.
Are you satisfied with what you see with Yankee Stadium?
I was there the other day, Friday night. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. You cut me open, I bleed pinstripes. You know, I love it.
No Mets in you?
No, not really. Only when they played maybe the Red Sox. That's about it.
All right.
I believe without Yankee Stadium, that whole neighborhood goes down the drain, and we can't afford that. You know, the Yankees are a worldwide entity. They're the top. I believe they're the top 2 logo in the world. Yankees and Manchester United. You can't beat that. You know, from April or from March to November, businesses thrive in that area. So I think it's really needed, and I'm so glad they didn't move to Jersey. You know, I believe we should have maybe planned better for the park that we took over. I think we need to put the park. You know, I think the park should have been back now, so the children in the area can play, so the children in that area can flourish, because they need, you know, they need a place to throw a ball on. They need a place to express themselves physically.
Let me come back and take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more with Anthony Ribustello, who is the candidate for Bronx Borough President, right here on the set of Perspectives. Stay with us. We're coming back with more with him right after we return.